Friday night. Guess what I'm having? It's going to help me deal with this nonsense story I'm about to tell y'all. Ta-da! Oh, ooh. California wines are the best. If you have the opportunity to try, now they're not paying me to tell you this. I'm just sharing this because this is what I drink. It's called Cupcake Chardonnay. It's good stuff. Okay. It came to me today because I saw this video in one of the groups that I participate in on Facebook, a clip from a Steve Harvey show where these twins met these dudes that were all disguised and they gave them the cold shoulder and just basically acted a fool on the date, really rude and just clown the guys. And so Steve brings, when he came on the show afterwards, he brings the guys out, and it turns out one of them is like the most successful, well, not the most, but a highly successful real estate investor in Atlanta, and the other one was some kind of consultant with a tech company. I thought he was cute, so I'm like, even though he had on disguise, I'm like, I don't understand why they didn't understand that they couldn't tell that that was a disguise. But the thing that I had the problem with about them, they were twins, and they had blonde hair. See, I'm not into this black women with blonde hair shit. That shit started in LA, like, I don't know, in the 80s. And the sisters had blue contacts, hazel contacts, green contacts, and blonde hair. And they was all looking like that every time I went to LA. And I was like, this is stupid. I don't understand it. Be who you are. Stop trying to be a white girl. And they're like, well, it looks good on me. No, it doesn't. No black woman looks good with blonde hair. That's some drunk shit that you telling yourself. So anyway, they're twins, and they're sitting up there, acting a fool with these two guys with their blonde hair. It was kind of embarrassing, actually. But it reminded me of a story. And this is a true story. So I just said, let me tell these folks about this. This is how you got to be careful about having friends that are trifling. Now, this was some years ago when I was, young and flipping around and doing crazy shit. I had this friend, right? She was more like my road dog. We weren't really friends. I didn't tell her intimate stuff about my life, share my dreams, my past, nothing. All we did was club and party and road run together. But, she was really good for that. So we went one night to this party in San Francisco, right? And on the way back, we both were like, our stomachs were growling. So we pulled off in Oakland, and down in Jack London Square, there used to be this little this restaurant that stayed open, I think, till 4 or 5 in the morning, or maybe even all night. I'm not really sure. So we go in there. Of course, everybody else has the same idea. So the line is like long, and we starving, right? I'm like about to pass out. So I see this guy sitting. You know how they had those booths where it's like, like a half circle? And this dude was sitting at the table by himself. So we're standing in line, and I kept seeing, I was thinking, well, maybe he's waiting for somebody. Maybe there's like a group coming, and he just reserved. I didn't know what the situation was. But after we had stood in line for like 30 minutes, maybe not that long, but whatever, just say 20 minutes, I walked up to his table, and I said, excuse me, are you waiting for some people? And he said, no. I said, so would you mind if my friend and I sat here with you and ate, because I'm just really, really starving. I'm feeling lightheaded. I really need to eat. So he said, oh, sure, no problem. Okay, so I go back and get her, and we come to the table. Now, there's he was sitting in the middle. It's like a half circle. He's sitting in the middle, right? So she could have sat on either side of him, but she sat in the, right where I was headed, right? She scooted in ahead of me and scooted real close to dude, right? So he kind of, did this thing, and he's like looking at her like, what are you doing? I didn't say a word. I sat in the end where I was planning to sit. So that whole other side of the half circle was empty. I'm giving you guys all these details because I want you to be able to picture what happened. So I said, well, I'm going to get up and go wash my hands, because we'd been at this party, we've been clubbing and acting a fool. And I don't like to touch my food with dirty hands. So I said, okay, I'm going to wash my hands. So I go to the bathroom. So when I come back, she's not only, but, at the, kind of in the middle, she's like right next to dude. And, he's still looking at her like, like that. And so I sit down. And so he keeps looking at me, and I'm like, I don't have nothing to do with this. This is you. So then she starts asking him these questions. And I tell you guys, never in my life have I been so embarrassed to be with somebody who I thought had halfway decent sense. But it turned out she didn't have any. So she starts asking the dude, okay, well, what do you do? Okay, we sat down at his table. Why do you need to know what he does for work? That's irrelevant. Just talk about what did you did this evening, just some innocuous bullshit. You don't need to know what the man does for work. Okay, that was just too much. She was doing too much. Okay, so so he's kind of looking at her, giving her, the side eye, and then he looks at me, right? Because I'm over there. I'm just, I'm not really tripping on what they doing. I wasn't even in the conversation. So then he answers her, kind of, half interested, but he gave her an answer. She asked him subsequently what car you drive, how much money you make, and where you live. Okay, just like them twins. And that's what really triggered the memory in my mind because I swear this had to be at least 20 years ago. But I will never, ever, ever forget it because the humiliation and then the subsequent drama, let me tell you about that part, was just horrific. Okay, so our we order, our food comes, and I'm just head down, I'm grubbing, I'm not paying no attention to what they talking about. She's asking him all these kind of personal questions, and he was kind of giving her like the half answers. And every time I looked up, he was staring at me, and I'm like, I can't help you. You gonna get out of this shit. You're gonna do it all on your own. I'm not going to help you. I don't help men. So we all finished, right? And actually, he treated us. He paid for everything, which I thought was very generous because he didn't know us from hole in the ground. And so we all walk outside to go to our cars, right? And I was walking kind of behind them, and then he dropped back to try to, talk to me. And she like circled up to the side of him, and she was like, "Oh, let me give you my number and this and that," because we found out that he was an architect. Dude he had come from the East Coast or something and to live out here to do some work or something. And, he was the dude at the time. Now, you got to consider like this was like 18, 20 years ago. And he was making, $80,000 a year then. So, you know what I mean? Dude was like balling. And this was a black dude. And so, I was like, man, I'm good at picking, I'm good at picking them. But this particular case, it went all bad. So he kept looking at me, and I knew that he really didn't want to deal with her. I mean, you could tell by his energy and the way he was doing, but he never told her, right? He never said a word to her, and I wasn't, like I said, gonna help him. So I was driving, so I get in my car, and she's still, talking to dude, chasing after him, trying to get his number and all this stuff, and I'm just sitting in my car behind the wheel, waiting for her to get in the car. So she gets in, I drop her ass at home, and that was that. So fast forward about, I don't know, maybe 2 months. And she tells me that dude who played in what used to be called the Midnight Basketball League in Oakland was part of a gang. And she's like, oh, he wants me to invite you. I'm like, really? And dude was fine, don't get me wrong. Fine, educated, had a master's degree in architecture, in design or whatever, and I was obviously extremely successful and just fine. So I mean, that's a trifecta. And had she not been there, trust me, that man would have been with me. Trust me. But the way things went down, I'm not going to interject myself in that situation. You need to make a decision what you want, and you need to be a man, and you need to own it. So I go with her, we go to this game, and it's all the way in San Francisco. We lived in Oakland at the time. That's quite a trek. So we go to the little game, and he's shooting and everything. And then at halftime, he comes up into the stands where I'm sitting, and he sits next to me, and he's like, oh, I'm glad you came. I'm like, oh, okay. What am I supposed to do? I mean, everybody's looking. And she was down on the court because she was supposed to be one of the cheerleaders or something. And she was like looking like this. And I'm sitting there looking at him like, you please, back over there a little bit. Let's leave a little space here. And he's like, I don't know how this happened. But, I really wasn't trying to get with her and, blah, blah, blah. But see, in the meantime, he's been fucking her. And, because she's telling me all the stuff that they've been doing together and everything. And, I can't do it. Dude, you fucked up. I mean, what you want me to do? And so when it's time, the game is over and everything, and she wanted to stay and do something. So he's like, oh, well, I walked Deb to her car. And, oh, that's right, because they were going to leave together. That's it. So he walks me to my car. And I'm just extremely uncomfortable. I mean, it's not like they had been dating a long time. It's not like they were like this serious couple or anything like that. But just the whole environment, the whole energy was just off. It was just bad. So he's walking to me in my car and he just like looking at me in my eyes. He's like, I just really wanted to talk to you that night. I just don't know. She just was coming on so strong. I said, let me give you some advice. And this is the advice. This is the whole reason I'm telling you guys this story for the men that are listening and maybe for the women. I mean, because I could have done more. I could have stepped up more. I opted not to, but I could have went and sat on the other side of him so he would have been in the middle, right? And so he could have, that would have given him the opportunity to really stop paying so much attention to her and to have me, right there to talk to me, to give her the message, I'm not interested in you. I could have done that. And had I been more, well, less of a B, I probably would have. But I just have this thing where I just don't help men. I need you as a Leo woman. I need your ass to roar louder than I do. And so I needed him to say something like, it's very nice talking to you, but, I'm really trying to get to know your friend. So, blah, 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 or whatever, however he was going to word it. That's what I needed him to do. And he never did it. So, he's telling me all this stuff while he's walking me to the car and, he's giving me all these long, like, puppy dog eyes and all this old stuff. And I'm just looking at him like, this is really a sad situation. So that's my point though for guys. If you ever get yourself in a situation where you are, some woman's after you and you really want another member of the crew that she's with that night, please be a man and stand up. Say, put the woman, I mean, you don't have to be an asshole about it. Just let her know, it's really great to talk to you, but I need to save some of my time, my energy, my whatever, because I really want to get at your friend over here. I really want to talk to her. And, I don't want any kind of, misconceptions from her thinking that I'm interested in you when I'm really not. See, if I was a dude, believe me, I would be a pimp. Oh my God, it would just be unbelievable. And if it was me, that's exactly what I would say to a woman. It's like, you cute and all that, but you ain't cute as girlfriend over here, and that's who I'm really trying to get at. So, deuces. So, but this is just a random thought, another segment of my life. One of the things that I like to talk to. I can't even say it was a date because it really wasn't. But I think that, he was so intrigued with the fact that I stepped out of that line of, it had to be at least 50 people, and walked over to him and was bold enough to approach him as a stranger and ask, can we sit at this table with you? And, I was cute. I mean, of course, I was a lot skinnier then than I am now, and had on, some little spandex mini dress and all this old stuff. And, I know I looked good. It was not a problem. But it's the kind of thing that, as a woman, you don't want any ambiguity. You want to know for sure that the man is solidly and singularly interested in you. He never communicated that. I could tell, as a woman, I could read what his body language was and everything. But I'm looking for him to not only act that way, but to follow it up with actions and with his word. So he only did one of the three, and that wasn't good enough. So, he ended up dating her for, I don't know, about 6 months or so. And then he, got another contract and he was back on the East Coast. And so that was the end of that. And, I did hear from him via email because, my websites and everything are quite public. It's very easy for people to find me on, any medium. It's not like I'm hiding. So he did send me an email, and he explained everything that he was feeling and thinking, and how he regrets that he didn't stand up and make a move when it was time. So you guys, you got to step up. You have to be, if you see a woman that you want, and she, it's a situation where you can talk to her, she's open, she's available, she's not involved in some other activity, she's not busy, step up, be a man. Let her know that you're interested, and get your shit rolling, get your shit off the ground. That's what I have to say on this wonderful Friday night. I'm about to get up out of here, and there's a bar that's got my name on the seat. I got to go. I'll talk to you guys later.